Alright, give me one sec.
Good day, everybody.
I am live as well. How's it going, everyone?
Dude, we're living the dream, man. Hold on, I actually have to
Nice.
like.
And how are you, Dan?
Daniel.
Oh no, we can't hear Dan.
I can't hear him.
I can hear you, Christian.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, this live stream didn't go flawlessly.
Oh no.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, now we
Oh
can
yeah.
hear you.
Yes,
Alright.
yes,
I
Dan.
wanted to have my soundboard available, but unfortunately, I just didn't. It just doesn't work.
Oh.
So I said, screw it, get rid of it. I can't
It's
figure out
all
how to
good.
make this audio not a pain in my ass. Anyway, I am good. I was invited to a thing. I'm going to be a part of making things. It's weird.
Oh, cool.
But it was kind of a whirlwind and also working on a very fun script idea. It's all coming together.
Oh, cool.
like this.
Very nice.
And then I got this little guy.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just chilling, you know. Chilling, letting my hair grow a little bit.
Let it go. Let it grow.
Excited to play more at stores. Very excited for that.
Going, sitting with a Christian. You're sitting with a guy who went 3-2 in the Digimon tournament that we went to.
Oh,
So-
dude.
You're also you're also sitting with a guy who went 1-4 and placed dead last.
Oof. Well, hey, it's you won one. That's what matters.
I did win one. I got really lucky. My deck did not perform as well as I wanted it to, but it was extremely fun to go back in the store and play some games.
Jason, I think it's time to admit I secretly sabotaged you.
Oh yeah, with the shine,
I
the shine.
absolutely never do that to you. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody.
Oh no, yeah. We put it.
Personal responsibility for telling you to add those Shine Greymon that you didn't need.
Yes.
Shine Greymon would have been really badass, but unfortunately, it didn't. It doesn't matter. I swung in for like 21,000 damage at one point with like all my tamers and shit. It was pretty cool. It was fun. Moving on to the next deck, which is going to be exciting, but exciting to play in stores and stuff like that. So Magic-wise, any news with you guys?
No, just excited to play later tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm very pumped to play. I also am like trying to update my trade binder, so I have plenty of stuff for trade. Plenty of stuff for trade. Yeah, and I, per the conversation we had previously, I've decided that I need to get rid of some commander decks because I have way too many.
How many do you have?
I have 22 right now.
Why? I was just thinking like, oh, 10. Maybe 10's a lot, but 22 is.
No, I have 22, and a lot of them are like I'm getting rid of SRAM because SRAM is literally like the same exact playstyle as Joyra, but there's never a situation where I'd ever be in where I play competitive EDH and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna choose SRAM over Joyra. Like Joyra is just straight up better.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's like no reason for me to keep a competitive deck, and then that opens up like okay, like I have like good cards in there that I can use in other decks that I might have proxied. So I'm gonna get rid of SRAM. I'm gonna get rid of a few others. I gotta go over my decks and see what works, what doesn't work, and go from there. But that's a conversation for a different day in terms of like how many decks is too many. Like
Yeah.
when should you stop building and just I guess play within your means, which could be something we talk about.
The funniest part about it really is that like when you texted me this morning, I had to like take a second and I was like, how many do I have? And then I did the math. I'm like, I have 3 boxes of 3, and then 3 that are in their own box. I'm like, holy shit, I have 12 EDH decks. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I was like, if I had not counted up my decks and you asked me, I would have probably said like at most 15. The fact that I have 22 is like bordering on preposterous for me. It's, you know.
You said
Um,
22. I was like, yeah, dude, you can cut most of those back.
yeah.
Keep rats though. I love your rat.
I do love rats.
Rats
The
is a
problem
fun
is
one.
rats is staying. The ones that are for sure staying are like rats, Omnath, Joyra, Boss Smasher, Coin Flip, tokens, the big ones.
No
I
Kalia?
almost no Kalia's staying for sure. Um, I'm keeping Kalia as like a more competitive combat based deck as opposed to my competitive combo based deck. So
Combat.
that's kind of like the slot Kalia fills is like okay, like it might not combo out on turn 2 or 3, but like I do have like Drannith Magistrate and I have other stuff in that deck that can slow down other competitive decks. And it could be could be interesting to see how that works. But yeah, Kalia's staying for sure. Kalia's an OG.
I just realized that the Kai card deck you made for me for the gift exchange was
Yeah.
a combo deck.
Oh,
And combo.
wow.
It's a combo deck.
I love it. There's so many plays on words. Kai Cars, Comboat.
Kai cars,
I-
and combos.
I
Oh,
like
have a deal.
because you use spirits to crew your vehicles. I do think Ghost Rider is pretty fun. You know,
Ghost Ride the Whip.
you can Ghost Ride the Whip in that deck, literally.
Literally.
But yeah, I'm very excited to play and trade and just have a nice magic night. Yeah. So should we move on to news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. First bit of news is we have the dungeon cards spoiled. You guys can see the stream, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. We have the dungeon cards spoiled for the next Magic set, which is the Adventures in the Hidden Realms or Forgotten Realms. I forget exactly what it's called. Adventures of the Forgotten Realms make more sense too. And these are basically cards that exist outside of your deck. You don't play with them in your deck. They don't count towards any card count. So you could play a 100 card commander deck, and if you want to use a dungeon, that could be technically your 101st card.
Interesting.
It makes sense.
And
Cost, like,
yeah,
you know.
and there are certain cards that were spoiled. I guess we could go over the spoiled cards, but they're kind of like. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick.
Yeah, there's not mythic. There's a couple. There's a few worth talking to.
Well, just because they kind of like will help explain the dungeon dynamic more. So actually, we have a good. You guys can see this, right? We have a good amount of cards spoiled. So we have like, not that. These are all the old cards spoiled. Yeah, let's just go to the top. So we have Eliwick Tumblestrum, 4-drop Planeswalker.
What type of name is Eliwick Tumblestrum?
Probably something.
I know
D&D.
there's a British guy named Diddlyam Bumbersnoot. That's what that sounds like.
Generic with Tech Theratrix. Dan Smith.
So this is Planeswalker. You drop her for 4. She comes in and play with 4 life. +1 her to venture into the dungeon. So basically, anytime you venture into the dungeon, you would play a dungeon card from outside of your deck. And I think the way it works is when you enter the dungeon, you play the card, and then every time you enter the dungeon after that, you are more or less moving from one to the other,
Okay.
the other, and yeah, and you make your way through the dungeon. And then there are like other cards. Let me pull it up. Cards that like, so like Cloister Gargoyle. I'm never gonna like put this card in the deck, but it's fun for like sealed and stuff, for like limited. It's a 3-drop 0/4. As long as you've completed a dungeon, it gets +3/+0 in flying. So there's like certain mechanics that like rely on you to complete dungeons and stuff, or like this guy's pretty cool. Other creatures you control at +1/+1 as long as you completed the dungeon. I guess that's like a mid effect for completing a dungeon, but it could be pretty cool to see how it's implemented with some more powerful cards.
Yeah, that is interesting. So I guess when you complete a dungeon, what happens to it? It just goes away.
Probably.
I think it just goes away. I don't know if you can use it again, honestly. But they take so long to go through. I mean, this one, like each one of them takes. You're talking at minimum what 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 5 to put into play. So these are going to take at least like 5 triggers, if not 5 turns,
Right.
to get the effect. And the question is like, is it worth it? Like, do you guys think you would ever play a dungeon in your commander?
I don't know. I'd play one to see what it's like. I can't see myself sticking with it, to be honest.
I would consider it depending on what else comes out. Like I think these would
So
actually
here's
be
the
allies really, because I'm trying to also make that like have a fair amount of like nothing on like everything has every creature type, so it's like it works
That
with
could be kind
veteran parties. I think it has potential. I don't necessarily know if I do it right away. Just it all depends on what's
so
so little. Of
so
it.
here's the thing. When you say what's coming up, do you mean like other dungeons?
Other dungeons, other cards that will trigger dungeons. Like what else do they do? Like can you bring up those spoilers really quick? Because I know there's that white legend.
Well, before you get too excited, here's the underwhelming news. Those 3 dungeons are the only dungeons.
That's it?
Oh, fine. That's fair then. You know.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, it seems like such a cool mechanic. Like, I'd like for there to be like 1 or 2 more because I don't know. I'll have to see how it plays out. I think as a mechanic, it is really fun, and I think in limited that will be really where it like shines.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
'Cause that's limited with cheating is always nice.
Or like I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to build like D&D themed decks, and like if you build a deck around this, it could be really fun. I could see people like I don't know like how you would be able to break like maybe like double dungeon triggers or I don't know, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think it has
Interesting.
potential. It just depends on what else comes out that gives you
Yeah.
like benefits from completing a dungeon. You know?
Yeah. I mean, this one's pretty cool. Draw 3 cards and reveal them. You may cast one of them without paying its mana cost. You're casting one of them? It takes like a million turns to get that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so much you get out of that though. It's gain a life, scry 1, treasure token,
That's true.
or you like block something from doing stuff. Scry 2, like there's so many options.
I will
you
say,
can do. Like it gives you a lot.
You are right.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of cool shit.
You are right. The 3rd level of this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Treasure if you don't need to, if you're not feeling any pressure, or you are feeling some pressure, target creature can attack. Like, yeah, it could be fun. So what next? Oh yeah, here's a fun one. A lot of people are really pissed off about this.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda sucks.
it's super shitty because like a lot of these people like I will admittedly say I don't know who this Andre guy is. I'm assuming he's some sort of professional Magic player, and the fact that they're saying like this is giving them like 0 motivation to want to play and shit, I mean, kind of sucks. It's
Yeah.
also like it's also the discussion of just like Wizards promised something and then like backed out of it while posting like record high sales last year. Like they made more money than they ever made in 1 year, and they're going to be cutting something that they said they would. It just seems a little ridiculous.
That's.
Really rude.
I'm not even surprised that a company would do that during COVID, but
Yeah, it's the most backwards way of doing it. It's actually not even backwards. It's the most passive aggressive way of doing that, where it's just like, it's absurd because it's like, instead of like telling people like, no, we're just not going to do this anymore because of X, Y, and Z reason, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna cut the prize pool, so whoever wants to still duke it out for the meager scraps that we're giving you. I think we lost Jason there for a second.
we did.
We'll see him in a minute. But like Christian, you and I can at least keep on the screw capitalism train, where it's just like it's so passive aggressive. Like it's just like
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're having trouble. No one gets anything.
I'm back.
stupid. Hi, Jason.
Yeah, I need to figure out why I keep doing that. But I caught the gist of what you were saying, and I completely agree.
Because it's just
um,
it's so dumb where it's like people are just gonna do this. It's like they lose motivation and then they're like, well, we don't know what happened, you know?
yeah. And I guess the question is also like, why are some? I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I kind of see where people are coming from. Or like, Wizards of the Coast promises one thing, and they back out of the promise. And this is not the first time they've done it.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole uproar where, hold on a second. There was a whole uproar with like they promised people could get certain cards from double masters packs, and then people pre-ordered at crazy prices, and then they were like, oh, my bad, you actually can't get these cards. They do this shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Really?
why is it okay to break all these promises, but you can't go back like on the reserve list? Like, that's a promise you won't break, but you're breaking all this other. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
no,
I was just seeing
that just sort of
discourse
makes
on
me
that.
wonder, like, I feel like there's not a lot of organization at Wizards right now.
Yeah.
Like, when a company starts acting like that, you gotta assume that whatever's going on internally is just a train wreck.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry. When my thing closed, my stream got a little wonky. So give me 1 second to just.
Like, what are they gonna do with
I'm
that
sure- I'm sure you're good on
750K?
you.
They're gonna hold a Post Malone concert or something.
So yeah, that is that story, and it's just just shitty.
Bullshit.
A little shitty. What else do we have? Sorry, let me just. Every time my thing closes, I have to like rearrange my setup. Okay. Next we have. Oh yeah, check this out. So this is the first person. This isn't the first time people have seen this, but like this is the first. This is the first time this has happened like recent sets. So we've had all these spoiling problems, and there's more than one person who has basically said they're Modern Horizons 2, and I think it's all in the UK because it's very humid out there right now. Are saying that their Modern Horizons 2 foils are just like peeling off.
That's wild.
It's literally.
Look at that shit. Can you imagine, dude, if you drop money on a fucking foil card and that shit happened?
Yeah.
When
Oh my god.
When Wizards is posting like record fucking sales and they can't even get the goddamn foils to stay on the fucking cards.
Oh, dude, we can't even with this, right?
Well, the executives gotta buy another yacht. Maybe they'll meet my bosses out there.
It's terrible. It's really frustrating. I mean, the thing is, I'm a little nervous now, is I just bought 3 foil fetch lands from Modern Horizons. If one of those if my Scalding Tarn, peels off, like, there's gonna be hell to pay. You know what I'm saying?
Triple, quadruple sleeve it. Put it in
Yeah.
a top loader. Play with a
Ridiculous.
deck of top loaders.
Get one of those like airless chambers.
People are like coming up with like all these hacks and shit. Like people are saying put like packing peanuts in your deck box, do all this other stuff, and it's like we shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah.
Like no other card game has this problem.
Don't put the onus on the consumers when the product is inherently busted.
Yeah. So it's a little preposterous, and I kind of got a little upset when I saw this. And not a great week for Wizards, but a good week if you're trying to pick up. Good 2 weeks if you're trying to pick up fetch lands that have reached all-time lows, enemy fetches. That's kind of cool. And yeah, Modern Horizons 2 cards are going down, and I'm excited to pick up some for cheap.
Yeah, you can probably get some cheap foils off of this now.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, dude, it's crazy. Like people don't even know the difference between like etched foils and retro etched foils and like retro foils. Like this, I think we talked about on previous episodes. Like people are actually saying it's becoming an issue.
Same. That's so crazy.
Sellers can't tell the difference. But yeah, so that's kind of it for news. So going into the next thing, so we have so I figure we'd talk about crossovers. Why not? We'll have a little fun today. Because the next Magic set is a crossover, and we have all the, there's a crossover with The Walking Dead, Godzilla, Stranger Things is coming out. Like, if they're doing Stranger Things, who knows? Like there's realistically nothing. Like, what else will they not do?
I'd just like to state at this point in the podcast that I hate crossovers, and I think they stifle creativity within the industry. I'll do it.
Oh, I mean, I completely agree. I'm not like as maybe not as adamantly, but I'm not really like trying to get everything to cross over. So we have a bunch of ones gathered right here. Let's get the presentation mode. There we go.
Ooh, spicy.
There we go. So let's go through the rankings we have. So we'll start from the top. Legitimately should happen. Probably going to be pretty rare, as yeah.
Yeah.
As Christian just said.
You that I'm going to argue legitimately should happen. There's a couple
right.
I've seen.
All right. Well, I'm interested, and I'm really looking forward to this. So next we have This Is the Content We Crave. Not quite legitimately should happen, but would be fun. And the next one is would be fun, but would have flaws. After that is Please No. The final one is An Affront to God.
I mean, I feel like the ones that are going to be an affront to God, I would like to see just because it'd be funny. But let's take a look. Let's see.
All right, so let's start from and I do have I mocked up some sample cards for some of these.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Okay. See, now I'm excited.
This is gonna be fun.
To give an idea of what it could be. Okay, and not for all of them, for some.
No, it's fine.
First one we got. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm excited to see those cards. Please start us off.
Yeah. That should be fun. So first one we got Game of Thrones. What do you guys think about Game of Thrones crossover?
I feel like it'd be interesting, but I feel like the Game of Thrones universe is like a combination of a bunch of different sets Magic has already done.
Yeah.
That's like the best way to describe it. It's like there's not one specific set. It just the world already feels somewhat similar. And like the one main conceit about like the White Walkers, you could say, oh, that's like, I don't know. I feel like you could find that in other.
There's a precedent for ice zombies.
Yeah, there's a precedent for ice zombies. There's a precedent for like dragons coming back to life. There's a precedent for. Yeah. There's a precedent for royal intrigue. It'd be fun. Like I wouldn't mind it, but it would also.
The closest thing we got is like the conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was very.
I mean, what is Game of Thrones if not? I mean, I haven't read the books, but I've watched most of the series. What is it if not like a more grounded fantasy world with dragons in it? And I feel like they are already going to the Dungeons and Dragons universe, so this is just way too similar. I don't think it's an affront to God, but I would say, please no, I don't want a Game of Thrones.
And besides,
yeah.
It sucks now. Everyone hates it because of the end.
Yeah. So we'll put this in a please no.
And for all the nerds out there who might correct us in chat, we do know it's also called The Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh yeah, for
so
sure.
Actually.
All right, next we have Dark Souls. So I know Christian, you're a big Dark Souls guy, right?
Yeah, Dark Souls. If I actually cared about crossovers, I'd put it in This Is the Content We Crave. Sort of like Game of Thrones, there's already kind of a precedent for most of the stuff happening, but Dark Souls is specific enough to where like you could make some interesting stuff out of it.
Yeah. It's very easy to one-for-one this with Magic too. It's like old school Magic. Like you could sort of get the same thing you're getting out of some of this D&D vibe with Dark Souls as a thing. Like.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit darker. Sorry, go ahead.
It would have flaws, but... so that's why I put it like would be fun, but would have flaws.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. I kind of think it would be personally. I think this is the content we crave, but I think objectively, it's would be fun but would have flaws. Like I said, like you guys said, it is a little similar to some things. I think it's dark enough to differentiate itself from the stuff it is similar to, and I think it has a lot of really cool. Like Dark Souls is just has badass monsters, and I'd love to see like what they do with like some of the bosses for cards. Would be pretty cool. You know, they would be like sort of like pseudo Eldrazi, I kind of think, in the Lovecraftian sense that like they have that kind of similar vibe. I would think I think putting it in the middle tiers is pretty good.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I did a card for this one. Yeah, I did a card for this one. I did here we go. Let me just load it. So I did Bonfire, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I tried to capture all the elements of like what the bonfire does. So it's sort of like an ultimatum. Uh, so I got return as a legendary sorcery. You will return all creature cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. In the sense that when you go to a bonfire, all the creatures return back to
Okay.
normal. Each player discards their hand, then shuffles their graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. That's just kind of like in the sense of everything is resetting, and then each player's life total returns to normal. So it's like a big reset with the creatures coming back, basically. And I think every color was represented here except for green, so that's quite why I gave it to them. So.
I like it. It feels appropriate, and especially for
Yeah.
its cost. I would maybe put like because I feel like a lot of the legendary cards, or at least all the ones I remember, like Dominoes and stuff, like needed you to have a legendary on the board. So I feel like that
Oh, true.
would make a little more balance. But I still like what this does.
Oh, I think it is it is a legendary sorcery, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably like
You would
implied, but I don't remember if the reminder text was always on.
do that. I don't recall honestly.
It's all good. I still like it.
Yeah, so that's just kind of like one thing I got. A big reset effect was kind of what I was going for.
Yeah, no, it definitely works. You could also like say the bonfire is like an artifact or an enchantment or something, and then
Yeah, dude.
you could probably do something similar, like
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 that'd be wild if it was like. Sorry, go ahead.
no, like preventing damage or whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's there are the cards in the new commander set that you suspend for 3 turns. They come into play, and then you suspend them again for 3 turns, so they never actually go away. I think the bonfire, if you had some sort of like quasi resetting effect that repeated itself every X turns, would be kind of cool. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm distracted. My boss is now annoying me about this bullshit, and
Oh man.
and the accountant's trying to blame me. So great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about it.
Well, do what you gotta do, man.
I will see.
Next up, we have Power Rangers. So.
You're hitting me right in my weak spot. You know that, right?
Yeah. For this project, there was like a few that I obviously put in as my own, and then I kind of like went through a list of the biggest franchises and thought like, what would actually realistically maybe happen? And that's kind of where I went from there. And Power Rangers was up there. I was Power Rangers and Kamen Rider were up there, but I figured Power Rangers would be the more, yeah.
Because there is, even if there is no God or Buddha, there is comic. Anyway, I mean, again, my weakness, and I would love to say legitimately should happen, but
Yeah.
I would be willing to compromise content we crave or have flaws.
Yeah.
Because there's the potential to make it stupid. There's the potential to make it silly and fun. You got options. You have so many options for what you could do with something like this that like it's easy to see it being both good and fucked up.
So I think personally that this is I could see Dark Souls being like a set or something like that, but I think with like Power Rangers, it'd be pretty cool if they did a Secret Lair style product, or like, maybe like what would be really cool is if they had a silver bordered uh sort of My Little Pony. You know how they do the My Little Pony cards, and it's just like
Yeah.
3 foil cards that are like in a nice case, and they just like feel like My Little Pony, like it's a really cool collector's item.
Yeah.
If you had this with like all the Rangers, and they had like some sort of like come together effect to like when they
Flip
transform or
cards.
whatever. Flip,
Ranger
yeah,
cards,
exactly. And then how many Rangers are in the original series, or like how many Rangers are in a typical squad? 6?
6-2. Hold on, let me check the average here. In my brain. Far end is 14. All in the middle of that. Wait, 14, 12, and then they added 3, so 15. Far end is 15. So, between 6 and 15. 14. About 10 and a half.
All right, so I think like maybe 10 cards would be a little much for something like that, but some sort of limited release thing where like you have these
Really,
these
the
Rangers.
real average is like
Yeah, so maybe like 6 cards in a display case, 3 and 3. They come together to form some big robot. I think that'd be pretty badass.
they all have linking art on both sides, like
Yeah, man. The Eldrazi, like the Bruna, or the
yeah, and the crank cards from one of the last unsets.
yeah. I think personally, I would put it at would be fun, but would have flaws.
Yeah, I think
what do you
that's the best way to put it.
All right. Next we have Dragon Ball Z, and I did mock up a card for this, so I'm gonna pull it up. It's kind of, I feel like crazy because they're not all like insanely overpowered. Trust me.
Yeah, but every card in every set is insanely over.
Yeah. But these ones are. So basically, and I tried to do it the level up on this, but they wouldn't let me. It's more or less whenever he's a 4/4. Whenever he takes damage, as Saiyans do in Dragon Ball Z, he gets stronger every time they survive combat. So more or less every time he survives combat, he just gets bigger and bigger and becomes, as he goes through the different levels of the Saiyan thing, which I think would be pretty cool if you knew how to do it right.
Yeah.
So this is just sort of my take on that. Reminds me of an old remember Gay we used to play with from the Cabrini Villas? He had a Dragon Ball Z deck with Skullbriar, and because Skullbriar's counters stay on, so every time Skullbriar got bigger, every time it was like a different increment of 5, he would have a different art for he would go up in the Saiyan levels. It was pretty cool,
It's really fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's a good idea. I would say like cut it back to maybe like 3 levels, but yeah, absolutely, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, it was a little much. So I love Dragon Ball Z, and I think it would be pretty cool. I think it's the content I crave, but I'm curious what you guys think.
I don't really crave Dragon Ball Z, and I feel like it's got an interesting reputation amongst the nerd community already, because I feel like half the people love it and half the people can't stand it.
Yeah.
So it'd be, I don't know. I think it would be fun, but like it would probably have flaws, and it would probably be flaws related to like the Super Saiyan level.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that's just me.
You'd have to go like overpowered in some degree, but balance it, and there's always ways you can break cards. So.
Yeah.
Always.
But you can't have a card called like Super Saiyan God and not have it be like ridiculous. So. So what do you think? Mid tier?
Mid tier.
Mid tier.
Because especially if you consider the concept of them leveling up as they take damage, like that's broken.
It's broken. Really it might have to be some sort of like when you take damage within an increment of, if you were to go to like 1 dam of health or something like that.
If it survives combat.
Right. But that actually is kind of just because we've never actually had cards in Magic that cared about surviving damage and like having X amount of life. So I don't know. Just a thought.
Hearthstone's done that recently. They have a mechanic called Frenzy. It's when you survive damage for the first time, effect happens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be something like that would be pretty cool with Saiyans. So, all right, we're getting to some fun stuff. What do you guys think about a Shrek crossover?
Jason, it's the easiest answer. It legitimately should happen.
Actually, to be honest, I feel like you could have a lot more fun with Shrek than you would with like a Dark Souls or a Game of Thrones when it comes to making magic cards.
Dude, a Shrek Secret Lair would sell so many fucking copies, and the property is big enough, and it's like an ever. I feel like
it's a meme.
Yes, it's been a while since Shrek has come out with a movie, but it's like everybody knows Shrek. It's such a huge fucking movie.
It's Shrek. What are you gonna do? Like not? Yeah.
I did make a card for this, so let me see.
Of course.
I'm gonna pitch a secret layer, right? It's 5 alt art swamps and 1 alt art herb.
So here we go. We got
Herbor.
all the swamps and over. Honestly, dude, people would buy that. I would buy that.
You would make, Wizards. Give me 10% of the profits because I just gave you a brilliant idea.
Yeah, a Shrek orb.
You will buy that for the memes. You'll get Magic players who won't even. You'll get non-Magic players to buy that because it would be brilliant. So much money, more money than.
Oh yeah. All you're doing is printing basic lands. It's not like you're like
Exactly. You're not printing anything. Excuse me. Oh, we're not printing anything broken or incredibly unique and hard to get like certain other card games, and even they did at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
So I got this card here. It's called Get Out of My Swamp.
Yes.
It's a prevent all combat damage that be dealt to you this turn, and then if you control a swamp, I thought this was kind of cool. You goad all creatures that attacked you. So they gotta get out of your swamp, and they gotta go somewhere else. So they gotta go somewhere else by goading them, and then it's just like a fun effect. So
I like it. For 2 mana, I need a black-green fog. I can go for that.
yeah, and like the black green is if you control swamp, like maybe you have a mana rot that's making black. Like
Yep.
I feel like it kind of balances out. I feel like looking at it now, maybe I would do double black green because goading all creatures is kind of a lot. But
Yeah. For 2.
Yeah. Black, green, green, or 2 black, green.
Well, here's it's all creatures that attacked you this turn. So yeah, you would use it to block an alpha swing, but even in like a smaller game, you would use it to block like a basic swing. You know, you can just be like, oh, there's one thing swinging at me, man, now it's goaded. You know.
it's getting bad, guys. This is getting bad.
It's okay.
I straight up need a new computer. So if any of you guys knows anything about building, I think Christian, you know a little bit about building PCs, right?
No, I didn't build this
check
one.
With Gabriel, he gave me a bunch of stuff, but I also just bought mine like pre-made.
Yeah, I'm thinking about if I do take apart some decks, I could sell some stuff for some funds, and then, get an actual PC.
Having a PC has been surprisingly nice, even though I don't use it to its full capacity. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. Again, because
brought to you by Microsoft.
All right, so Get Out of My Swamp. So I honestly think it either goes. It's got to go at the bottom or top. There's no in between.
Yeah, I would not put it at the bottom. So we got to put it at the top.
Legitimately should have.
You would have like people would think it's an affront to God, but you would have a lot of fun with Shrek.
You'd make so much money. So much money. Wizard, I'll even take 5% of the profits because it's just gonna make you that much money.
Nah, this next one I think is probably more of an affront to God in my opinion. That would be the Seinfeld.
I just like the idea of the Seinfeld Forest Planeswalkers.
Guys, hear me out, right?
Newman is like the next Yawgmoth.
Kramer has flag. And also
I think
one
it'd
of the
be
Rangers
hilarious.
colors would be as multicolored as black.
Yeah. Oh God. I have a kind of similar joke with the HP Lovecraft card I made coming up.
Hey,
uh,
that's
so
hilarious. Nothing happens.
so
Christian,
this is literally just like this is literally would just be a storm count card. You would put this under like I don't know. I don't know. You just it's just nothing happens. It's the most. It's a show about nothing. It's a card about nothing.
legacy deck with 4x, and you just storm off on turn 1.
There's gotta yeah, because there's something about it. I'm sure there's something that you can do with the fact that it's considered all colors.
Yeah.
And it's a zero drop card, like a zero drop card of all colors. I'm sure there are certain legacy decks that care about like when you cast a green spell, when you cast a blue spell, or whatever. And just casting something zero for does nothing. I mean, I don't know. As a person who plays a lot of Cheerios based decks and a lot of like Moxes and shit, not Moxes, but like zero drop or cheap more attacks. So you don't want to underestimate something that costs zero.
This would be stupid in Rainbow's Dragon Engine. 5 counters right
Oh
now
yeah,
for 0. Put 5
that's
counters
so
on Rainbow's
funny.
Dragon Engine.
You just broke this stupid card. This is great. Literally, Rainbow's Dragon Engine, pay 0, make 10 mana.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love that. So, I think just to move on, we can all agree this would be an affront to God.
It's an affront to God.
All right, next up we got
It'd be
Indiana Jones.
It'd be a fun affront to God. Also, I might have to head out early, but we'll see.
That's fine.
All right, well, if you have to, we'll clean it
Oh,
up.
I only need to do the next one. Everything else is optional to me.
That's fine.
So, what did you say about Indiana Jones, Christian?
Oh, I feel like it'd be fun, but it'd have flaws.
I think it's please no for me.
Like, it's just outside of Indy himself. Like, what else is there? There's the Ark, which is, I guess that'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have like the racist cult. You have the Holy Grail would be neat. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like fun stuff there.
I take not literally an Indiana Jones themed set, but like an Indiana Jones inspired set, like a sort of swashbuckling, like adventurer type with cool artifacts that do fun things.
Yeah.
Like, I'd take a small something or another of that, like a theme, like a splash in a commander deck or something, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'd take that over like a whole everything. So
But-
I would put please
Yeah.
no. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's-
hate it, and I could see it working, but also, why waste our time?
It's realistic, but
Yeah.
I don't want it. Yeah, please
Give me
no.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
It's alright.
All right, all good. All
I
good.
have to say this one for Christian.
Good to say this one, Christian.
That's one of my favorite stand-up.
I just have to
jokes.
turn my AC on.
You guys remember the time when this was the worst person in a red hat?
Dude, so I figured it wouldn't be Limp Bizkit specifically, but I would say a crossover with like 90s/2000s and new metal would be fucking banging, yo.
Okay, if I get a Korn, not because I like Korn, but because if I get a Korn's Groovy Pirate Mystery themed card where they all turn into Korn,
Oh, hell yeah.
it's like sudden spoiling where you just all your opponent's creatures turn into Korn.
Nice.
That sounds funny.
That'd be funny.
30%.
But I think it'd be, you got crossovers with Korn, Limp Bizkit, what is it? I don't know. I can't blank it right now. Linkin Park, Head PE, Slipknot, Disturbed. There's so many things. Drowning Pool. Each one of them gets their own card. I would love this.
Down with the sickness.
I actually went ahead and, of course, I had to do a card for this one.
Is
So.
the nookie. You do it all for the nookie.
So you lose X life, where X is the total power among creatures you control, and if you put all for the nookie, So if your life total would drop below 0, your life total becomes 1, and target opponent's life total becomes 1.
I love that.
So beautiful. This puts it in legitimately should happen.
Yeah, honestly, the Nookie single-handedly redeems Fred Durst as a crossover.
I love the idea of, like, I was thinking, like, okay, we got two directions with Nookie. You have to do it all for the Nookie on the card. So either the card does it all, as in the sense that it's like a Progenitus type creature, or like, you know, Emrakul, or something where you put it all on the line. So I went with the latter and made this Nookie card. But I kind of like the idea of just like you bring yourself to 1 to bring somebody else to 1. I don't know. And like getting no other benefits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Legitimately should happen.
Legitimately should happen. Alright, here's another good one people are going to have opinions on. Star Wars.
I don't...
I put it in would be fun, but would have flaws.
Yeah. And like, nothing they do with Star Wars is going to make the fan base happy.
No.
Star Wars has not made fans happy since the first movie came out. It's been angering fans ever since.
Wait, what? I thought they were the nicest people in the world. They never complain about anything. They have so much content.
Yeah, so I agree. It would be fun, but would have flaws. It'd be fun to have like space vehicles you can crew and shit, but
yeah.
I'm kind of like sick of Star Wars, honestly. Like, I don't really want to hear about Star Wars anymore.
Dude, yeah, I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of Star Wars fans. Like, you're a fan of, like, they think they're special. It's the most popular franchise in the world.
The most popular franchise in the world, owned by the biggest media corporation in the world.
Yeah, they're, like, still in that...
Based on.
Yeah, they're still in that, like, phase where they're like, oh, I'm 12 and kids bully me for liking Star Wars. That time of your life is gone. That doesn't exist anymore.
Like, you're just...
For real.
You're basic.
Just a guy. You're just someone. I just discovered a card.
It's not the 70s. It's not a new niche thing that not doesn't make a bajillion dollars.
Yeah. So I would agree. What a flaws.
Anyway.
What next? We have Fast and Furious.
Yo.
What do you guys think about Fast and the Furious crossover?
Dominic Toretto counts as a member of the family. For every other member of the family, blah, 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 blah. Well, see, then we need to include the family. Like, we'd have to make a whole family of cards.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, but like... It's a little broken, but it's not super broken. He's like his own little coat of arms.
He creates a coat of arms. I figured it would be kind of fair because you could have only, like, each member of the family would only be a legendary creature. You can only have so many. So it's a coat of arms that doesn't go, like, you know, you can't make, like, infinite members of the family because they're all legendary. So it would probably max out at, like, plus 5 or something like that. And then, yeah, just like a little crewing vehicle.
You'd really have to sink something into this.
And I just made him like a 2-1. I feel like he could probably do like 1 in a white. He's just got like so much shit going on, but...
I like this concept though of like, they are vehicle themed, and like I would love it for him to card just for fun.
That'd be so funny.
I put it in like, this is the content we created.
I would crave the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't care for these movies that much, but this,
But like...
I like the flavor.
Yeah, you can meme on that.
For sure. Alright. Franchises, you know me, I had to do it. I had to include it. I did not make a card for this, surprisingly. But I was thinking some sort of like stuffy doll effect for Meg, where she just like soaks up damage somehow.
But all of them, 1 of that damage, and deal it to Meg.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's enough. I mean, I love Family Guy. Being a front to God, I just had to include it. You know,
it'd be a funny affront to God, though.
I would take an
pretty good.
named after Family Guy.
Dude, I would too, but people would be not happy with it.
They would be furious.
So poorly received. I mean, Magic and Family Guy are 2 things I love.
Yeah.
Oh. Those are 2 things I love. They should exist in the same thing.
That's how it works.
It will always work because I like both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. So I did the Lovecraft universe, so like Cthulhu, all the
So,
other stuff.
to be fair, I know when they made Zendikar, like Lovecraft was a direct influence on like the
Zendikar
Eldrazi and stuff.
Innistrad.
Yeah.
Innistrad.
Yeah, so it's kind of already been done. Yeah, I don't know. I just
No,
figured I'd throw it in.
there's so much more to Lovecraft before too that they really haven't explored that like the idea
Yeah.
of like an other dimensional elder god like
Right.
we've only really got 3 and then all the other small ones and stuff. So like you could do like a more modern style.
Oh god, I think I'm going out. I think I'm going out again.
I do
Just a
love this
heads up.
fact that it's just whenever a creature that's not white enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice him.
He does, yeah, dude. He's
I
is
would-
he's a
It was just black, but the fact that it's every color but white is so much funnier.
I mean, dude, it's like I still just love reading his thing on Italians because like that's how much he hated Italians. I don't want to know how much he hated non-white people.
not a good guy. I'm gonna put this in. Please no.
Yeah, it's just too much too much cans of worms.
Too much of a can of worms, and there's also like I mean I love Lovecraft's writing. He's a really bad person. I love his writing, but there's also like the core of his work is like based around what you can't and shouldn't know or see.
Yeah.
Like if the basis of your work is the absence of being able to like see something physical, how are you gonna put that into art? I don't know. It's just a difficult thing to do.
It's difficult. It's difficult. For sure.
And I'm sure if people know me, you've heard me say this a million times, but this is why so many Lovecraft movies do such a poor job because it's a visual medium and you have to focus on the unseen. So it's kind of interesting. All right, moving on. Lego. What do you think about Lego?
It's tricky. That's how I feel about Lego.
Wow.
There would have to be, for this to work for me, there would have to be a card that is stepping on a leg.
Yeah.
Or like, just like cursing. Like, Jesus, Mary, and St. Joseph.
I don't really think I love that idea for a card, Dan, but I don't really feel like Legos really resonated with me, and I feel like Legos
Me neither.
is just kind of such like a broad thing. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean like Batman is in it as well? Like, does that mean the Marvel characters are in it? Like,
Yeah, there's
everything
much
Lego.
potential to like expand on.
yeah, I would say personally, please no.
I would even go so far as to say a bit of an affront to God. It's a little unnecessary.
Yeah, what do you think, Christian?
Not an affront to God, just more of a please no, and that's only because I don't really know how to make it work.
Yeah,
Like
that's-
making
think
cards out of
I'll
it.
take a please no. I'll take a please no.
If you found a way to make like some sort of building mechanic, could be interesting, like a dungeon type thing. So, moving on, we have the Matrix franchise. Everyone knows me and knows I love me my Matrix.
I'm gonna take the red pill and the blue pill. That's cute.
So I kind of did this. They wouldn't let me do double-sided cards, so imagine this is a flip card, like you know.
Okay, yeah.
So we have one on one side, and they're both X spells. So take the red pill, which is refusing knowledge.
Discard
You
it.
discard X cards from your hand. Each opponent takes damage equal to the total converted mana cost of cards discarded in this way. So people take damage. It can be used. Pretty effective. I like the idea of just refusing knowledge, so getting rid of cards. And obviously the other side would be X blue, and you would gain knowledge because you're taking the blue pill.
Isn't that the other way around?
I fucked fucking pills up. God damn it! And I fucking prefaced the whole thing about how big of a Matrix fan I am. So swap these up. You gain knowledge from one side, you lose knowledge from the other side. I'm gonna exit out of this page because I just embarrassed myself.
Here's what you do, Jason. You make it not literally like a flip card, but you do like a half and half card.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are,
I like
are
that.
like not with
Comic going.
use or whatever, but you just do like you can do one or the other. Take the red pill or take the blue pill.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Because
That'd be pretty fun.
there's like and, there's or, there's ones that are like half and then rotated a different way because you can cast them from your yard or whatever.
Yeah.
Do one of those.
I will say, as far as
Hey
sci-fi,
guys, I gotta go. I'm sorry. This work thing got too big.
It's alright.
That's all
buddy.
good, dude.
We understand.
take
Yeah.
care of what you got to take care of. We'll,
All right,
we'll
yeah,
finish up.
I'm gonna stop streaming on my end. I don't know if you guys are or not.
I'll go for a little bit.
All right, cool.